What's up, guys? It is Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and this is my Bleach of... What's up, guys? It is Corey from SuperKamiGuru9000, and this is my review of Bleach, Chapter 535. Hollowfcation. It's been a really important part of this entire series, because the Hollows have really been the main opposing forces of all of the characters, and it continues in this week's chapter of Bleach. We actually get to see the evolution of Masaki, Isen, Ryu, and even Urahara's story. We get to see they've all known each other at some really important juncture here. And basically what's going on here is Isen and Ryu have brought Masaki to Urahara to try and fix her. And Urahara has actually said that he has been experimenting with this girl for 100 years, and he's been experimenting on all this stuff for a long time. So he's the go-to guy for this stuff. And he explains that she's basically been infected in a way, by the Hollow. She's being hollified. The problem is, since she's a Quincy, they've never really seen anything like this happen before, and this is, of course, why Aizen is probably just hanging back in his chair and laughing his ass off and enjoying all of this. However, there is a huge explanation. They are going to be able to save Masaki, and I'm going to try and break this down as much as I can, because it is kind of confusing. I've read the chapter a good, 5 times now, and even now it's still kind of confusing, so let's just go through this. First and foremost, Urahara says that they have to create some sort of vaccine for this Masaki girl in order to get rid of this hollowified form, and it is going to change her as well. And in order to do this, he has this shell which looks just like a human, and he says that Ryu is not going to be able to do it because he's a Quincy. They need something that's an opposing force. And what's the opposing force to a Quincy? It's a Shinigami, so that's why they have to have Isen and Shiba do this. And there's a huge explanation. They build it up a little bit more. There's a whole explanation about how, the souls, they have this, soul suicide thing where, they explain it with a bucket of water, which actually does make a little bit of sense. And they can show that if things are disrupted, essentially the bucket is going to explode, and the soul will go everywhere, hence soul suicide. And he's going to be able to prevent this. So Isen is going to have to basically get inside this shell and connect himself to Masaki in this, weird spiritual world. And after this huge explanation, you think maybe there's going to be a lot of questions about it. No, Isen is immediately just sure, I'm going to do this, whatever. Your explanation was way too long anyway. Let's just get this underway. And at first it makes sense, he's a big shonen hero, and Ryu is kind of doubting all of this at first. He's like, why would he even do this? There's too many things for him to lose. But Isen, like I said, is the ultimate shonen hero, even more so than Ichigo is, actually. And because of this, he decides, well, I kind of have to do this. She went out of her way to save my life, so I would just be an idiot if I didn't save hers. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'd be way too ashamed of this. So that's when he decides to go through with this. And the end of the chapter gives us some pretty interesting stuff. We get to go back to this weird black dark world where Masaki is just sort of floating around trying to figure out what to do. And in this world is that giant hollow head that looks really creepy. And they do show it in a few panels, and it is drawn very well. And in the very final pages, we actually get to see that Isen is diving through here, and he's able to save Masaki, and she's completely shocked by this, as she should be. Why the hell is he here? And I'm guessing this is when he's going to probably have to fight this hollow creature maybe again, or maybe he's able to pull her back out. But what is interesting is how this is all going down and how everything has just been perfectly connected with Urahara. And he's definitely the glue that has sort of been holding this whole series together, because he's kind of the knowledge of everything. I mean, if there's ever been an important thing going on in the series, he was the guy you go to, and he seems to be connected with just about everybody. And I gotta really commend Kubo for that, because he's really just a great character, and ironically, he's not even really a fighting character. You don't really see Urahara battle too much, and I like that. He's really mysterious, and so is this whole backstory, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen more from here, because I'm still kind of confused as to how all of this is going down, how all of this is going down, with the shell, how that works and everything, the whole being tied together with strings and everything. It's still kind of confusing to me, but maybe you guys could explain that to me in the comments below a little bit. If there's one thing I can say, this was a really well-written chapter of Bleach. Like I said, maybe a little confusing, but it's all there for you, black and white, clear as crystal. Read it. But, there were some pretty good panels this week. I really enjoyed all this stuff with Masaki when she's in that creepy hollow world. That first big panel where she sees the hollow's face is really awesome. And, of course, at the very end where Isen is getting ready to save her is really cool. They also say that there's a possibility that since he's going to do this, that he's going to lose his Shinigami powers, but we know that's not going to happen. We've seen him use them in the series before anyway, so I'm interested to see how he's going to overcome that as well. So, pretty good chapter, really great artwork from Kubo. A little confusing, so that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, and there were some things they could have smoothed out a little bit, and maybe some things that could have been cut as well. But how did you guys feel about this week's chapter? You can let me know with your comments below. Remember, guys, as always, make sure to hit that like button and give this video a thumbs up. That concludes this review today. SuperKamiGuru9000, out.